Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video is just going to be something kind of funsy, I think. I'm sure some of you have seen the little, I don't know what you want to call them, articles or whatever, floating around Facebook that say, I don't know, just talking about what it is to live in different states and like customs and traditions and things you're going to find and see there. I just seen one pop up on my newsfeed today that says 30 things that will definitely happen to you when moving to Indiana. And I thought I would just go through and, I don't know, share it with you guys and give my thoughts and opinions on each of the little posts throughout the article. Just to let you know, I guess, if it's true or not. I'll turn you around and we'll go ahead and start looking. Number 1. You will be able to play euchre in your sleep and pick it up from a long hiatus without ever having to ask questions. I have never played euchre. I know it's very popular with a lot of older people. I'd say people, 50s and up. Most of them know how to play euchre. My parents do, my grandparents do. But I haven't met a lot of people my own age that know how to play euchre. But it's a very popular card game with middle-aged and older folks, I guess. Second one, you will get used to having all 4 seasons in one day. That is very true. And down here it says, for example, there's winter, rainy winter, leafy winter, and road construction. All of which is very true. And there's always road construction going on somewhere in Indiana. It never is not under road construction somewhere. Let's see. Currently, well, I drove past some road construction the other day and had to go be detoured. I can't remember what road it was on. Well, the main road, 931 here in town, was under construction a couple of days ago. It was just like a little tiny dinky patch. And then there was another road called the Fountain Street, and that thing was under construction for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a full month. And when they finished, they'd only done like maybe 50 yards, if that. And it was like the most stupid road construction. Like, it didn't really fix anything or change anything. It just messed everything up for like forever. It kind of eased a slope down from a parking lot onto the road, if that makes any sense. It wasn't so much of a hump there you had to drive over, but otherwise it didn't really do anything. And the weather, yeah, the weather here is crazy. Like, literally, there have been days where it's been like 80 degrees or something, and then the temperature just starts dropping. Like, that's how you know you're getting closer to winter towards the end of fall. Like, it'll be 70, 80 degrees, and it feels fantastic. And then somewhere towards the end of the day, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, like, the temperature will just start to plummet. And, like, a lot of times the day or two after that, especially if there's precipitation coming, like, you'll wake up the next day and it might get up to 70, and then it'll snow that evening and be like 30 some degrees. Like, there's craziness going on with the weather here. Number 3, you will not even be able to imagine eating chili without a peanut butter sandwich. That's very true. I gotta have a peanut butter sandwich with my chili. You will catfish all day and go frog gigging at night. I've never gone catfishing or frog gigging, but I have gone at night to look at the frogs, and some of the frogs get freaking huge. Like, huge frogs. Like, really big. Number 5, you will start to wave everywhere you drive by... Oh, you will start to wave whenever you drive by someone, no matter what. There's waving everywhere, and that's true. Everybody waves at everybody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And motorcyclists, they have, like, this thing where, like, they put out their 2 fingers, like, they drop them down. Is that normal everywhere else? It's, like, a way to say hi or whatever. Number 6. You will pull over to the side of the road for a funeral procession going the opposite direction. Yes, this is very true. It's just out of respect for whoever passed away and their family. I don't know. Is this not normal for the rest of the country? I don't know. It's very normal here. You will learn to love the smell of manure. This is also true. Like, the more time you spend out in the country, the more you get used to the smell. Like, there is just some manure smells that are just so strong, there's just no getting around it. But if you spend a lot of time out in the country, and you do start smelling manure coming off a farm, there comes a point in time where, like, I don't know that it's necessary that you like it, but you don't notice it anymore. Number 8, you will know that puppy chow is just a brand of dog food. It is not just a brand of dog food. And that's so true. Puppy chow is so delicious. I love puppy chow. I've never made it myself, but I love to eat it. I can put some hurt on some puppy chow. Number 9, you will become a master of cornhole. I suck at cornhole, but let's just be honest. 4th of July weekend, I played cornhole, I think, for the second time in my entire life. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, but I'm not very good at it. Number 10. Oh, and also with the cornhole thing, at the trailer park we lived in, there was a couple that lived at the front of the trailer park who had a cornhole set, I guess is what you'd call it. And every evening, up until winter, they were outside playing cornhole. Every evening. So it's a very popular game. Number 10, you will give someone directions using minutes and not miles. For example, I have no idea how many miles India is from here, but I can tell you exactly how long it takes to get there. And that is so true. Oh my gosh, yeah. I know how long it takes me to get to Indy, which is about a 45-minute drive. It takes about 30 minutes to get to, what is it, Westfield, Westfield Carmel. Avon takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic. Fishers takes about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. Tipton takes about 30 minutes now because of where we live. Getting to the north end of or the south end of town takes about 15 minutes because we moved. Yeah, like everything is by time, but like I couldn't tell you how many miles it is to get somewhere. Normally, and a lot of times, I mean, like if you're driving 60 miles an hour, that's comes down to pretty much a mile a minute. And if you're 60 miles out and you're driving at 60 miles an hour, well, it's going to take you an hour to get to that place. So that's just kind of how I figure it out. I could be completely wrong. Number 11, you will know what the term knee-high by the 4th of July means. It means your corn is up to your knees by the 4th of July. If it's not, it's probably going to be a slow yield or a slow, I don't know, just like a not good year for farming, I guess. Like this year, the corn this year was probably about shoulder high by the 4th of July. And I remember driving past all of it, heading out to Mike's parents' house, and commenting to Mike about how tall the corn was and how good of a yield they're gonna, how good the crop is gonna be this year. They're doing so good. But if it's like 4th of July and like the corn's down around here, so like you're gonna have a sucky year. Number 12. You will never think of trying to buy alcohol on a Sunday. Yeah, you can't buy alcohol on Sundays. It just isn't going to happen. Yeah, you do learn to stock up there. If you're going to party on a Sunday night, you know to stock up. And a lot of parties I went to over the weekend as, like, I don't want to say as a kid, but, 21, 22, 23, 17, 18, 19, 20, when I wasn't supposed to be drinking. If there was going to be a party on the weekend or whatever, people would just send out a memo saying, bring your own booze, BYOB, which was kind of just, hey, anybody who has any alcohol, because it's Sunday and we can't go buy any, come to the party kind of memo. We passed this one, didn't we? 13. You will see Amish buggies on the road alongside motorcycles. It won't be that strange. This is true, especially towards the north end of town. There's a lot of Amish out in the northeast of Kokomo, and you see Amish buggies quite a bit. You will start to call anything that's carbonated and filled with sugar pop, unless you're in very southern Indiana, where they tend to just call it all Coke for some reason. I've never heard of everybody calling everything Coke, but we live, Kokomo's like kind of in the middle of Indiana, but towards the north end of being in the middle of Indiana, if that makes any sense. So maybe that's why not everybody calls everything Coke, but pop, yeah, that's quite common to just call it pop if you're wanting something like Pepsi or Coke, or like Michael asked me, I'm going to the gas station, what do you want to drink? I'll be like, I want a pop, and he'd be like, what kind? Because, it's so hard to just say Pepsi on the first try. Number 15, you'll eat Manhattans, an open-faced sandwich served with mashed potatoes. These are so delicious. I love making these. Mike asks for them. So good. And this just calls it a Manhattan here, but you have all different kinds. You have like a turkey Manhattan, a beef Manhattan. Pretty much what it is, it's a slice of white bread with your choice of meats, like a hamburger, or a chicken patty, or turkey patty, or turkey, like shredded turkey, or shredded chicken, or I've never seen shredded beef, or ground beef, but I'm sure you could do it. It wouldn't be any different than having a hamburger. And like that's all you have on the bread, and then you cover it with gravy, and then you have your mashed potatoes. And a lot of times you'll have the mashed potatoes on the very bottom, and then your bread, and then your meat, and then your gravy. But it's really good. Number 16. You will call it Santa Claus Land, and it's glorious. I've never been to Santa Claus Land, but I've heard it's really fun. 17. You will sing the jingle for Indiana Beach from memory. Yeah. There's more in corn than Indiana. Yeah, I know it. And I love Indiana Beach. It's a lot of fun. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I used to go quite a bit as a kid. But number 18. You will ignore the deer by the side of the road unless they make a break for it. I am very cautious to deer by the side of the road just because I've seen the damage they can cause to a car when you hit one. Excuse Molly. She's over there squeaking her teddy bear. So much fun. She just wants to share. Anyways, yeah, I'm always very cautious of deer on the side of the road. Most of this comes down to I've seen what they can do. They can really mess up your car, cause a lot of damage. And I've been in enough accidents I don't need to be in anymore. None involving deer, at least. 19. You will drive by 8 churches without seeing a Starbucks. That is true. In my town, we only have 2 Starbucks. And that is the closest Starbucks. Unless you want to go to Indy or Lafayette, which are both about an hour drive away. So if you live anywhere in the rural, what happened? If you live out towards the more rural areas, like Greentown, Rocheville, Sharpsville, Tipton, I don't even think Logansport has one. Peru doesn't have one. Like, most of the towns don't have a Starbucks. Starbucks was, like, a big deal when it came to town, and we got 2 locations. It was, like, they opened 1 franchise for, like, a year, and it did so well they opened a second. But those are the closest ones, unless you want to go all the way to Lafayette or all the way to Indianapolis. And churches are just everywhere. Everywhere. I think there's... we have a Catholic church, a Protestant? Lutheran. I think it's Lutheran, Catholic, and whatever the Salvation Army church is. And that's all within about 2 blocks of me. And I think there's a couple of other churches I'm not thinking of. If we were on the south side of town, yeah, there was churches everywhere on the south side of town that I knew of. The churches here on the north end of town tend to be a little more discreet, except for the really big Catholic church and the really big Lutheran church. But the Lutheran church was originally owned by Catholics, so it looks like a Catholic church. Number 20. You will start to love the taste of Grippos. I don't even know what that is. 21. You'll have to start explaining that chicken and noodles go on top of mashed potatoes. That is so true. You don't eat them side by side. That's exactly how they're supposed to look. Mashed potatoes underneath your chicken and noodles. Mix it all together. You need a little bit of corn in there. Yeah, and it says never beside. It's a Hoosier thing. 22. You will learn that Indiana mangoes aren't a yellow fruit. This is obviously real mangoes. This here are bell peppers. I have heard them be called mangoes before, but I've only heard it from like one person, and I never really understood that. Anybody around here that I know of, if you go ask about a mango, they would point you towards a mango. They wouldn't point you towards a bell pepper, so I don't really get that one. Number 23. You will live and die by the Colts. Yeah, there's a lot of people here that are diehard Colts fans. I'm not into football, so I just kind of whatever. Whoever you want me to be a fan of, I'll be a fan of. Like I'm not a football person. 24. You will pick a side between Indiana University versus Purdue, and there's no turning back. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal around here too. Again, not a football fan. I did go to IU, and my husband went to IU, but his whole family is like huge Purdue fans, and his mom gets him Purdue shirts, and they go to Purdue games all the time. So I have a lot of Purdue clothing now by association because I wear his sweaters. So I guess I'm a Purdue fan, but I've also got IU shirts. So I don't know. I'm not really a fan of either necessarily. I think they're both really good schools. Again, I've never watched a football game from them. 25. You will have a new favorite pizza place, and its name is Pizza Junkies. No, Pizza King. Our new favorite place is Pizza Junkies. It's literally across the street, and they're fantastic. If you live in the Kokomo, Indiana area, or if you're close to it, you gotta come to Pizza Junkies. Pizza Junkies is where it's at. But Pizza King is a very popular pizza place. I'm not the biggest fan of it, and that's not to say they don't taste good. And I know a lot of people love Pizza King, but I just can't do it. Every time I've had Pizza King, I throw up because it's too greasy. That being said, I can't say every time because I had Pizza King once at the facility in Greentown with no issue, and it was really good. But every time I've had Pizza King from any of the Kokomo locations, I've thrown up, and I am assuming they're just too greasy. I don't know why. I can't handle it. 26. You will start to think of tornadoes as no big deal after the first bunch of them. Bull freaking shit. No. Tornadoes are a big effing deal. We had a whole bunch of them come through. It'll be 2 years ago now in November. And they did so much damage. They literally touched down like half a mile away from where we were at, if that. Maybe it was more like a fourth of a mile. It was absolutely terrifying. I can do a story on it if you want me to. But there was so much damage done. Like I said, it was absolutely terrifying. One of the tornadoes hit my in-laws' house and just demolished it. And thank God they weren't inside. They got warning and they went over to their neighbor's house and was in the basement. But the pole barn was just gone. Just gone. Gone. Blown somewhere. You could hardly find any pieces of it. And the house was just all smashed in from a big beam from the pole barn that hit the house and just demolished it. Yeah, they are not something to mess around with. That being said, when you never have any tornadoes touch down or anything like that, and all you ever hear is tornado warnings, tornado sirens, but nothing ever happens or nothing ever happens around you. I mean, I went years without really knowing the power of tornado, if that makes any sense. And just thinking it's no big deal. I can remember going outside and sitting on the back porch and there's like tornado sirens going off. I'm like, man, they're never gonna hit here. Okay, yeah, well, it's more like a when will they hit, not a if. It's a when. 27. You will put a toboggan on your head when you go tobogganing in the winter. I've never gone tobogganing, and I've never worn a toboggan. 28. You will learn about the Hoosier celebrities. David Letterman, yeah, he's a big deal, especially if you go to Muncie, because I think he graduated from Ball State University, which is in Muncie, and he's done some really big donations and stuff, and he's a big deal down there. Florence Henderson, I've heard the name, don't know who he is. Larry Bird, never even heard of him. And Axl Rose, which I've heard of him, but I'm not really sure who he is. And the list goes on, the most famous one being Michael Jackson up in Gary. 29. You will love pork tenderloin sandwiches with all of your heart. Yes, pork tenderloins are amazing, and finding really good ones that are ginormous like that, it's hard to do. A pork tenderloin is really, really good. Try one if you haven't. 30. You'll be late because of a train or tractor, and it will be considered a reasonable and acceptable excuse. I have been late because of tractors. This happens all the time, especially towards the fall and late spring, early summer when they're getting out and planting stuff. It's quite common, and it's a total pain in the butt, but it is what it is. I've never had to use it as an excuse on a job, but I have been late to things because of tractors. Not work, but like family things or going places. Mostly going places and getting stuck behind a tractor. Yeah. So that's the 30 things that will definitely happen to you when you move to Indiana. I do love the state I live in. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of good things about it. Tenderloins being one of them. And sugar cream pie. I hear sugar cream pie isn't super popular throughout the rest of the country, but it's some good stuff. I gotta really hand it to the foods. Yeah, I think that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it really wasn't anything too fancy, but I just thought it might be kind of fun just to look through it and give my thoughts and opinions on it, seeing as I am a Hoosier and I do live here. So yeah, leave any comments down below. Let me know if you guys have seen any of these floating around for your state. I know I've seen them for North Carolina, and I've read them, and I find them to be very, very accurate. I did live in North Carolina when I was a kid, so I remember quite a bit. So yeah, let me know if you've seen these for your states, what you think. Are they accurate? Are they inaccurate? I think most of these are accurate. There's a few in here that I don't really know about. That doesn't mean they're not true. It just means that I haven't heard of them. So I think that'll wrap this up. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys. You holding her leash? Not gonna let her go anywhere? Holding her down? Goofy cat. You guys are goofy.